My mother's side of the family definitely encouraged and approved of. I know they weren't very supportive of a lot of the documentaries and everything, but they always felt support for me and support for me sharing my story in a book. On page, my emotions ranging from rage to acceptance when it comes to my mother and my past.
Hi friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. Today is Tuesday, December 10th, 2024, and a new book just dropped. And boy, is it full of nonsense. The book, titled My Time to Stand, was written by Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and it's packed with absolute lies and wild claims. In it, she tries to paint herself as the innocent victim of her mother's death, while shifting the blame onto everyone else. Her mom, her ex-boyfriend Nicholas, and basically everyone, but herself. Now, I've had the pleasure of reading parts of this book, and honestly, it gave me a disturbing look into the mind of someone who just can't seem to take responsibility for anything. Gypsy also gave an interview this morning on WWL, a local station, in Louisiana, where she blatantly lied about her mom's family supporting her decision to write this book. That's completely false. In fact, according to people I've spoken to, her mother's family is actually considering legal action against her because of the accusations she makes in this book, especially the outrageous claims against her grandfather. Frankly, I don't even want to get into what she said about her grandfather because, to put it bluntly, I don't believe a word of it. Everything Gypsy says feels like pure fabrication. One thing that stood out to me while reading was how she suddenly has a new story about how she lost her teeth. This is, what, the 5th version now? And get this. In parts of the book, she even accidentally implicates herself in aspects of the crime that she had previously denied. Yup, you heard? That right. She's contradicting herself left and right. There are some moments where she outright lies, and others where it feels like she's rewriting history to fit a narrative where she's always the victim. Honestly, it's disturbing and frustrating. And I can't believe she thinks people will buy this version of events. Like, oh, so this is where you're going to blame everything on others. Gypsy's book, My Time to Stand, claims to be an inspirational story, but what it really offers is a peek into the criminal mindset of a delusional woman with seriously questionable mental health. This is someone who seems to create stories and narratives out of thin air. On top of that, she developed a raging addiction to opiates, which led to violence in her home and even admitted attempts to unalive her mom multiple times. What's bizarre is how little her claims about her childhood seem to have to do with what actually happened. The stuff she says her mom did doesn't even match up with why the crime happened. So, let's dive into some of the key takeaways I got from this mess of a book. If you know anything about me, you'd know I've had a chance to review a lot of Gypsy's medical records. Right away, something jumped out. On page 44 of the book, she gives a new explanation for why she lost her teeth. In past interviews, like the ones with Dr. Phil and in various documentaries, she fraudulently claimed that her mother removed her salivary glands, which supposedly caused her to stop producing saliva. That's false. She only had a single set of glands removed, and there are thousands of salivary glands in your body. She still produces saliva. Another explanation she gave was that her mom gave her medications that caused her teeth to fall out. But now, she offers a different reason: late-stage bottle sucking. Yes, according to her, she continued to suck on a bottle of Pedialyte well into adulthood, right up until the day she was arrested. This wasn't something her mom forced her to do, it was her choice. She says she sucked on bottles from the time she was born until she was almost 24 years old. So now she's blaming her mom for not weaning her off the bottle? Seriously? At 24 years old, you don't need your mom to wean you off anything. You can make that decision yourself. According to Gypsy, the baby bottle was her safety blanket and security. She used it when she was nervous before a doctor's appointment, to help her sleep, or just for comfort while watching TV or drawing. She preferred Pediasure strawberry flavor and would warm the bottle under her armpit. Gypsy was extremely picky about the bottle nipples too, preferring clear ones because they controlled the flow better, in her opinion. She didn't like the liquid to come out too fast. She claims she preferred the bottle over the feeding tube because she could enjoy the taste of the nourishment. Yet, this is the same person who previously claimed she never ate anything orally, only through the feeding tube. Apparently, sucking on a bottle wasn't a secret either. They packed it up in a diaper bag when running errands. As a result of her late-stage bottle sucking, Gypsy says she developed teeth like SpongeBob SquarePants and claims all her remaining teeth were extracted for reasons she still doesn't understand. Let's be real here. It's called bottle rot. Has anyone heard of bottle rot? If you look at photos of Gypsy as a child, you'll notice her teeth were already sticking out. Her medical records show she had severe cavities and tooth decay on all her teeth. Bottle rot causes exactly that: tooth decay. Yet somehow she's blaming her mom for it, even though she was still sucking on a bottle as an adult. No, Gypsy, you don't get to blame your mom for that one. And also, isn't it ironic how she conveniently changes her story every time it suits her narrative? Now, about the medication. Gypsy claimed her teeth rotted because of medication her mom gave her. Wrong. It wasn't that her mom just had doctors extract her teeth for no reason. It wasn't chemotherapy that caused her teeth to fall out. It wasn't seizure meds. Now she's finally admitting it was bottle rot, something that many of us speculated on for years. Turns out she had a habit of sucking on sugary drinks, and that led to her teeth rotting. Think of it like sucking on a bottle filled with Dr. Pepper all day. Okay, Gypsy, that's an interesting take. You lied about this, and now we know the truth. Her teeth didn't rot because Dee did something bad. They rotted because of Gypsy's choices. She also brings up her feeding tube in the book, dedicating a weird chapter to her medical records. Honestly, it feels like an afterthought, probably because her health records became public and people realized she had a microdeletion. Gypsy tries to claim her mom somehow convinced doctors to put in a feeding tube without any real justification, but that's not what her medical records say at all. She was diagnosed with 2 forms of dysphagia: swallowing issues, reflux, and failure to thrive. She was even hospitalized for 2 or 3 months. So no, the feeding tube wasn't some cruel punishment by her mom. It was because Gypsy wasn't gaining weight, wasn't getting proper nutrients, and had trouble swallowing. But here's something interesting. Gypsy spends quite a bit of time talking about the crime itself, which is where things get even murkier. Here's something really weird. Technically, Gypsy isn't supposed to profit from the crime. This book shouldn't include any details about the crime, yet it does. It's not supposed to cover what happened that night. But guess what? The crime is all over these pages, and Gypsy even admits to being in her mom's room. One of the biggest things Gypsy has always claimed in interviews, her interrogation video, and documentaries is that she never saw her mom's body or entered her mom's bedroom. Well, we now know that's a lie. In the book, she writes, "While we waited for the taxi to arrive, Nick ordered me to clean the little bits of blood trailing from my mom's room to the kitchen where he initially washed himself off. I took some baby wipes and cleaned the blood spots up, not thinking about their origin." See that? She's admitting she went into her mom's room. According to a supplemental police report, Gypsy had already confessed to helping Nick clean up the blood in her mom's room and admitted to seeing her mom after the crime. She even writes in the book, "I grabbed my mother's money pouch with $4,000 and the rest of the Vicodin and Oxy. I removed pictures from the wall and put them in trash bags, which we took out to the curb. My logic was that if there were no pictures of me, maybe nobody would know I lived there and everyone would forget about me." After her mom's death, Gypsy admits to taking the money pouch and the medications her mom kept in a safe in her bedroom. Crime scene photos show that the safe had been tampered with. Her mom kept her meds in a safe because Gypsy had an out-of-control addiction to opiates. This revelation makes her prior claims even more questionable and paints a different picture of her role in what happened that night. Gypsy's addiction to opiates became such a huge problem that it caused constant fights with her mom. While Gypsy has always claimed that her mother got her addicted to opiates, that's not true. She was stealing her mom's medication. Gypsy didn't have a regular prescription for opiates. She only got them occasionally, like after getting her teeth out or following surgery. And as an adult, she didn't have that many surgeries. Instead, she was taking her mom's opiates. Her mom even had to file police reports to get her prescriptions refilled. Dee would often cover for Gypsy by claiming she had been robbed when, in reality, it was Gypsy stealing from her. If Gypsy were honest, she might be trying to tell us, or maybe she's lying, that her opiate addiction played a role in her mom's murder. But there's more. Gypsy publicly stated in an interview with Fox Los Angeles that she wasn't high the night her mom was murdered. Yet in the book, she admits to taking 4 Vicodin before Nick arrived. So, she took 4 Vicodin before Nick got there, then stole more Vicodin and $4,000 from the safe after her mom was killed. Clearly, what she told Fox doesn't match what she wrote in her book. Once again, Gypsy's story keeps changing to fit her narrative. She was high when she committed the crime, and drugs had nothing to do with it, according to her. But if the motive was, I want my mom's drugs, or my mom won't let me steal her drugs, or even, my mom won't let me date that guy from Missouri, then she's basically saying her mom was just an obstacle to be removed. Here's what she says about getting high. The pills gave me the nerve to talk in chat rooms late at night. I'd put on wigs and show off my cleavage. The drugs were a way to escape my boredom, fear, and loneliness. They gave me the courage to explore my teenage curiosities and fulfill strange new desires. I went from wishing for a father figure to searching for a boyfriend. She would get high, go into chat rooms, and try to hook up with men. She won't admit it, but that's exactly what she did. She had a bus pass, met guys on Facebook, and then went off to have sex. We now know she was in her mom's bedroom, even though she denies it. Remember when she said, at the crime scene, that she was in the bathroom cowering in the fetal position? She said she couldn't move and was too scared to help her mom. Well, she also admits in the book that she was naked, shaving her legs and hoo-ha while Nick was committing the crime. The crime didn't take long. When Nick came to open the bathroom door, she was in the bathtub shaving. So much for the fetal position on the floor. Let's be real. She wasn't cowering on the floor. She was probably high out of her mind, getting ready for some sexual fantasy. This was a BDSM roleplay that the two of them agreed on. She later falsely accuses Nick of sexual assault, which didn't happen. But let's not forget about this other attempt on her mom's life that she never talks about. In 2011, her mom finally caught on to her stealing pills again. She had a backpack under the couch that she planned to use to run away, but she messed up and admitted she had pills stashed in it. Her mom figured it out and said, "Not again. Gypsy, I thought we moved past this," basically telling her, "I thought we were done with you stealing my drugs." Then Gypsy rushed to the kitchen, grabbed a dagger, and picked up a .22 caliber BB gun she got at Walmart. She thought if she pointed the gun at her mom, she'd back off out of fear. She pulled the trigger and unloaded 10 BBs into her mom, causing tiny cuts in her flesh. Her mom yelled, "You shot me!" and backed into the bathroom, both hands holding weapons. Gypsy followed her, wedging herself in the doorway, and said, "Give me my bag, I want to go." Now, she was holding the gun, empty, and the dagger, both of them standing there in a standoff. She shot her mom because her mom took away the backpack full of drugs she wanted. Then Gypsy goes on about how she wants to be like other kids and how it's all about her being abused. But honestly, it sounds more like her mom was just going to take the drugs away from her. Her mom really got mad was when she needed the pills for her migraines, but they were all gone. The pharmacy wouldn't refill them early, and Gypsy freaked out because her fix was gone. She didn't care that her mom needed the pills, she just wanted hers. So, she filed a police report and said she'd been robbed. In 2011, After Gypsy shot her mom, she says everything changed. Her mom was now terrified of her. That was in 2011, and for the next 2 years, from 23 to 2015, Gypsy carefully planned her mom's death. All the while, she stayed addicted to opiates and lured a disabled man with autism into believing her mom was abusing her. But from what it sounds like, Gypsy was the one abusing her mom, shooting her with a BB gun, stealing her meds, stealing money, and ultimately killing her. After her mom died, Gypsy even stole her mom's meds and kept getting high. She admits that even in prison, she continued her addiction. What's concerning about this book is that, if this is true, Gypsy has never received any therapy, detox, or treatment for what seems like an out-of-control opiate addiction. Gypsy admits she was in her mom's room, crushing pills and using them to get high. She admits to shooting her mom over drugs, admits to stealing Vicodin, and even admits to going into the room after her mom died. So, what was she really doing? Grabbing the pills? Was the motive really about Gypsy being abused? Or was it just that Gypsy didn't like her mom saying no? She wanted drugs, she wanted to leave, and she wanted to go with Nick. Maybe it was as simple as that. When people are addicted, they're not always thinking clearly. A lot of crimes happen when people are intoxicated, things they would never do sober. But to me, it sounds like Dee was dealing with a daughter who had a severe addiction, and she was walking on eggshells around her.